Have you ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the bustling streets of a historic city? What if I told you there's a hidden world right under your feet, a place frozen in time, filled with stories of plague, ghosts, and forgotten lives? Today we're journeying deep beneath the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, Scotland, to explore one of the most mysterious and haunted places in the world, Mary King's Close. Imagine this. You're walking along the famous Royal Mile, surrounded by tourists, bagpipes, and souvenir shops. But just a few feet below, a completely different city exists. A network of narrow, dark alleyways, or closes, that were once open to the sky and teeming with life in the 17th century. This is Mary King's Close, a real street that was buried and built upon, preserving it like a time capsule. So why was it buried? That's where the story gets really interesting. For centuries, the popular legend was that the close was sealed off during a devastating outbreak of the bubonic plague in 1645. The story goes that the city authorities, desperate to contain the disease, walled up the entire street, leaving the sick and dying residents trapped inside. It's a horrifying image, isn't it? People left to their fate in the darkness, their cries for help echoing through the stone walls. This dramatic tale has fueled countless ghost stories and made Mary King's Close a legend among paranormal enthusiasts. But here's a twist for you. Modern historians and archaeologists have challenged this gruesome story. The truth, while less theatrical, is just as fascinating. There's no evidence that the close was deliberately sealed up with plague victims inside. In reality, the residents who contracted the plague were likely moved to quarantine areas outside the city, a common practice at the time. The close itself was a bustling community, home to families, merchants, and tradespeople. It wasn't some cursed slum. It was just a typical crowded 17th century street. So why did it end up underground? The real reason is urban development. In the 18th century, Edinburgh was expanding. To build the Grand Royal Exchange, now the city chambers, architects needed a massive level foundation. Instead of demolishing the steep, narrow closes on the hillside, they did something ingenious. They used the lower floors of the existing buildings as the foundations for the new structure, essentially lopping off the tops of the houses and building right over them. The former streets and homes of Mary King's Close became the subterranean vaults of a new, grander Edinburgh. The residents were moved out, and the close was gradually abandoned and forgotten, left to decay in the darkness. But just because the walled-in alive story isn't true doesn't mean the close is unhaunted. In fact, it's considered one of Scotland's most paranormally active locations. Visitors and staff have reported all sorts of spooky encounters for centuries. We're talking about disembodied footsteps echoing on the cobblestones, ghostly figures appearing and vanishing, and strange voices whispering in the dark. Some people feel sudden cold spots, others feel a tug on their clothes, as if an unseen hand is trying to get their attention. Perhaps the most famous ghost of Mary King's Close is a little girl named Annie. Her story is incredibly sad. In 1992, a Japanese psychic named Aiko Jibo was visiting the close while filming a TV show. She entered one particular room and immediately felt a powerful presence. She said it was the spirit of a young girl, abandoned by her family after contracting the plague. Annie was cold, miserable, and crying because she had lost her favorite doll. Aiko, moved by the story, went back out to the Royal Mile and bought a little tartan-clad doll, which she left in the room for Annie. Since then, that room has become known as Annie's Room, and something truly touching has happened. Visitors from all over the world, hearing Annie's story, have brought her gifts. The room is now filled with dolls, teddy bears, toys, and even currency from different countries. It's become a shrine to this lost little girl. People often report feeling a presence in the room, and some even claim to have heard a little girl's laughter or faint whispers. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's a powerful sense of emotion in that small, dark room. But Annie isn't the only spirit said to roam these underground streets. There's the worrying woman often heard moaning and groaning. There's a tall, shadowy figure known as the Grey Lady who floats silently through the alleys. And then there's the spirit of Andrew Chesney, the last documented resident of the close. He was a sawmaker who lived there with his wife in the late 17th century. People often hear sounds of sawing or metal being worked in the area where his workshop once stood. Some have even reported seeing his apparition, a solid-looking man in work clothes, who glares at them before fading away. Let's dive deeper into what life was actually like here. In the 1600s, this wasn't a spooky tourist attraction. It was home, but it was a tough home. The closes were incredibly crowded. Families, sometimes with 8 or 10 people, would cram into a single room. There was no running water and no sewage system. What does that mean? Well, residents would collect all their waste, both human and household, in a bucket. Twice a day at 10 o'clock at night and 7 in the morning, a bell would ring. That was the signal. People would fling open their windows and shout, "Gardez-l'eau," a warning derived from the French, "Gardez-l'eau," meaning, watch out for the water, before emptying their buckets onto the street below. You can just imagine the smell and the filth. The streets would literally be flowing with waste. It's no wonder diseases like the plague spread so quickly. And the plague itself was a terrifying reality. When someone got sick, a plague doctor would be called. These weren't your regular physicians. They wore a costume that has become iconic of the Black Death: a long, dark coat, gloves, a wide-brimmed hat, and most famously, a beak-like mask. This mask wasn't just for show. The beak was stuffed with aromatic herbs, spices, and flowers like lavender and mint. They believed that the plague was spread by miasma, or bad air, and they thought the pleasant smells would protect them from breathing in the disease. Of course, we now know the plague was spread by fleas on rats, but their strange outfits make for a chilling image. One of the most vivid experiences on the tour today is meeting a costumed guide playing the role of a plague doctor, explaining the gruesome and often useless cures of the time. Exploring Mary King's Close today is an incredible experience. You descend a set of stairs from the bustling Royal Exchange and are immediately transported back 400 years. The air is cool and damp. The only light comes from strategically placed lamps that cast long, eerie shadows. You walk on the original cobblestones, touch the rough stone walls of the old houses, and peer into rooms where families once lived, loved, and died. Guides, often in character as former residents, lead you through the labyrinthine alleys, telling you the personal stories of the people who called this place home. You'll hear about Mary King herself, a successful widow and businesswoman who the close was named after in the 1630s. She was a prominent figure who owned several properties here, challenging the stereotype of women in that era. The tour really brings the history to life. You'll see the cramped living quarters, the recreated workshops, and the very places where strange phenomena have been reported for centuries. It's a powerful blend of historical fact and chilling folklore. You can feel the weight of history in the air. You can almost hear the echoes of the past, the chatter of merchants, the cries of children, and maybe, just maybe, the whispers of those who never left. So is Mary King's Close truly haunted? Or is it simply a place so steeped in history and human tragedy that our minds play tricks on us in the dark? The oppressive atmosphere, the cold, and the stories of suffering could certainly create a psychological effect. But the sheer number and consistency of the paranormal reports over so many years make you wonder. From the solid-looking apparition of Andrew Chesney to the countless gifts left for little Annie, something special is happening beneath the streets of Edinburgh. It's just a place that forces you to confront the harsh realities of the past while pondering the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. It's a history lesson, a ghost story, and a human story all rolled into one. If you ever find yourself in Edinburgh, a visit to Mary King's Close is an absolute must. It's an unforgettable journey into a hidden world that time forgot. What do you think? Are these real ghosts? Or are our imaginations running wild in the dark? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever visited Mary King's Close or had a paranormal experience somewhere similar? I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the shadows of Edinburgh. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the world's most mysterious places. Until next time, stay curious,